Hi, I'm Annette Pasternak, the Stop Skin Picking Coach, and today I'm going to talk to you about some exciting things that I learned last week at the TLC Foundation for Body Focused Repetitive Behaviors Conference. So, these are 4 basic things that I'm going to talk about. First of all, a nutrient that looks like it can be very powerful against body focused repetitive behaviors. Secondly, also kind of an update or an addition to a nutrient that has already proven helpful for skin picking and hair pulling in some people, in like about half the people, and I'm going to talk to you about a tip that can possibly make that work for the people that it has not worked for. Secondly, I'm going to talk about the BPMI, or the Body Focused Repetitive Behavior Precision Medicine Initiative, this big research project on body focused repetitive behaviors, and it's very exciting. So I'll tell you, what they've done, where they're at this point, and what we can hope to learn in the future. Also, I went to a talk about uncovering hidden irritants in your beauty routine, and I found that to be excellent. So I'm going to tell you a few things from there. And then I'm going to talk to you about the recipient of the Unstoppable Spirit Award. You might find that interesting and inspiring as well. The first thing I want to talk about is actually a talk I was not able to attend because I was teaching something on my own. I was teaching about positive habits and the impact and how to make them and all that, and I'll link that video. But another one that I wanted to tell you about is a talk that Christy Gardner gave at that time, which I luckily was able to get the slides for, and I got permission from her to share these slides with you and talk about them here. So Christy talked about some research. This research was done about 5 years ago. Here's the paper. This is in the journal PNAS, the Proceedings of the National Academy of Science. And this was a placebo-controlled randomized double-blind clinical trial for 18 weeks of sulforaphane. Okay, they derived the sulforaphane from broccoli sprouts. This is given to 29 young men with autism spectrum disorder, and it was found to substantially improve behavior, okay, and reversibly, which means that they went back to having the behavior after they stopped taking the sulforaphane. Now, sulforaphane is a nutrient I had heard of before. It's got tremendous anti-cancer activity. It's anti-heart disease. Like, it's good for so many things. It's one of these brilliant molecules, and it's something that your body makes from compounds that are in cruciferous vegetables. Your cauliflower, broccoli, kale, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, radishes, that kind of thing. They have this some of these sulfurous compounds, isothiocyanates, and those some of those get converted into sulforaphane in the body, which has tremendous potential to reduce diseases and actually behaviors. So back to this paper where they looked at behaviors in young autistic men, they used a behavioral scale, and here are 4 different things that they measured with it that they saw the sulforaphane had an effect on. So in the red is the placebo, in the blue is the sulforaphane. So all these things decreased. The real interesting one for us is the stereotypy. So stereotypy means repetitive behaviors. So quite often autistic people are doing behaviors like skin picking. There are other repetitive behaviors that they do, but this is quite interesting, okay? So nobody has done research yet on sulforaphane and skin picking, but it is an antioxidant, like some substances that have shown to be promising with skin picking, particularly NAC, of which there is research, and glutathione, which there's not yet human research published, I don't think, but it should be coming. I certainly wouldn't wait for research because sulforaphane has been shown to be so powerful in so many ways, such a healthy thing, healthy compound. I'm going to share actually a podcast in the notes below where you can learn all about it. In this podcast, Dr. Rhonda Patrick actually listed so many different studies. She talks about all kinds of stuff and how much, how to get sulforaphane. Now, I'll just say briefly, like cruciferous vegetables are really awesome. If you want to see if you can get a real effect like what you're seeing here in this autism research, you might want to sprout broccoli. Do broccoli sprouts, because broccoli sprouts have about 100 times the amount of sulforaphane as do these other, as like broccoli does, right? So that's really good. So Christy suggested in this picture that it's a great thing to put on your avocado toast if you're eating that in the morning. So Dr. Christy and I were talking pretty much the whole weekend, and another really interesting point she made that I want to share with you is that with the NAC, a lot of people do not respond. Maybe about half the people that were studied show no reduction in skin picking or hair pulling or whatever with NAC, which is N-acetylcysteine, by the way. And I'll link a lot of these things below. But she was explaining that sometimes people need more liver support. Okay, so they were not getting enough impact from the NAC until they have some other things to help clear their liver or increase their liver activity, making it less sluggish. Which is, by the way, one thing that sulforaphane does is increases your detoxification abilities, okay? But in addition to NAC, Dr. Christy suggests using some things like milk thistle or dandelion root, some really known herbs, known liver cleansers, and things that are really helpful for the liver. Because a lot of us that have these body focused repetitive behaviors have impaired detoxification abilities, and this is probably a large part of why we're doing the behavior. Dr. Christy knows from her experience working with autistic kids that NAC actually works better in autistic kids with BFRBs when they're taking both milk thistle and glutathione. So those are some possibilities. Glutathione can be expensive and challenging to administer, but it does get increased by these other compounds as well. Really improving your detox abilities, sometimes with supplements, can be helpful. She recommends this supplement by Annette. So I'll link this because I know, whatever she recommends is real quality stuff. Yeah, so that's one possibility for you, is to take something like that, which might not have a lot of NAC. You probably want to be taking more of that, and I'll link my blog post about it below. You can take separate NAC and this other compound or some other, you can take like milk thistle on the side, for example. But if you want it all in a combo, you can go for that Annette product. So I also went to a talk about the progress of TLC's BPMI, the Body Focused Repetitive Behavior Precision Medicine Initiative, where they've actually completed data collection with 300 people. 36, I think I got these numbers right, like 36% of them are doing hair pulling alone, 26, I think I write that down correctly, but maybe slightly off, % were doing skin picking alone. The rest are probably some combination of those or maybe some other body focused repetitive behaviors. These people all were there at the site. They had to travel on site, all volunteers. Maybe they got a little compensation, I don't remember, but basically not much. I mean, they really, it's pretty awesome what these people did. And they had to sit through and take 98 different questionnaires, different scales for measuring behavior and all kinds of behavioral, what they call behavioral phenotyping, not just measuring how bad was their BFRB, which that is measured, but all kinds of other things, measuring anxiety proneness, depression proneness, and like lots of other stuff. They took tests that measured cognitive abilities, like different manual kind of computer little testy things. They also got their brains imaged by fMRI, functional magnetic resonance imaging, to see what is going on in their brains. And I'm not sure if this was just measured in one circumstance or if they actually had different situations, that might relate to the behavior in which they were testing. We'll see. Of course, I almost forgot to say the genetic testing. So each person had their entire genome sequenced from, believe it was a saliva sample. So there's just so much information. There's all kinds of genetic information. There's all kinds of behavioral information from those 98 different scales, those different written tests they took. And then the cognitive ability testing, like how long does it take to react to this? Or do you do something funny when this happens, or something different or the same as like people? And then the structure from the fMRI test, and even function. They can learn some things about the brain's functioning from fMRI, as well as its structure. So seeing what is all this relationship, what's the relationship between people's behavior and their genetics, and what's the relationship to their to either of these and the structure of their brain. So I think those are the main things that were being measured in each person. And at this point, they finished the data collection, but have not actually been able to analyze the data to the extent where there are any results yet. But they think there will be by, in maybe half a year, or for sure a year from now. We'll see. It seems like a lot of complicated data. So I don't know. I mean, my experience from being a scientist like many years ago was that things always take longer than you think they're going to. So I'm not sure. I wouldn't be surprised if it takes them a little longer than they say. But it's pretty exciting, though. I'm really looking forward to what they learn from that. Possible things that they're looking at that would be interesting to know or helpful to know would be like, why are people picking, individuals picking? And there might be many different things going on here. I like the way Dr. John Grant explains. This was a panel, by the way, so I don't know who all said what, but I do remember that he was explaining how some people have too strong a gas pedal on their impulse to do behaviors, right? Whereas other people, it might be that they don't have enough brakes. They don't have enough inhibition ability or activity. And then a third group of people, they might be fine in those first two ways, but they just might not care to inhibit it. There might be something, reflecting that. They're going to learn, obviously, with the genetic stuff, they're going to learn more about impulsivity and whatnot, running in families. Depending on what they learn, there might be new treatment options. So, for example, I thought this was very interesting. One way treatment might be assisted is if they find that there are, which is likely, that they'll find that there are actually several different, at least a few or several different unrelated presentations of, say, skin picking, where these are just, the symptom is the same, skin picking is the same, but they're coming from different genetic and functional mechanisms. Okay, this is very possible. And so, let's say they learn something about one of them that could be helpful. For example, Tourette's and migraines, there was found a similarity there. So, for example, if there's a drug that works for one of those and they're functionally similar, if it might help to give the drug for something else. Then they can, possibly do drugs that are targeted more towards one of these types than the other. And you would know if you get your genome sequence, which is not expensive anymore at all, you would know then, okay, is it worth trying this drug, right? Or does it have nothing to do with your particular picking? So this is all very interesting, very early times, although it's so exciting that they have lots of data now and they're going to analyze it, and we'll see what happens. And as soon as, I find out that they've done anything and published anything interesting, I will definitely share with you. So if you're interested in this kind of stuff, make sure you're subscribed to my channel. Okay, so the next talk that I went to was about uncovering hidden irritants in your beauty routine. And this again was actually Dr. Christy with her daughter Jaden, who Jaden has actually been on my channel before, and I'll link that because she actually talked on my channel about some of this, these hidden irritants and the alternatives you can use. She's tried so many products to find out, like, of the healthier products, what are the best performing ones as far as things you put on your skin and your hair and your makeup, all that stuff. So this talk, one of the big points in the beginning is that we, as people with body focused repetitive behaviors, we are very sensitive. So we're more sensitive than the average person. And there are many, many things in personal care products that are frankly horrible and harmful to the average person even. But for someone very sensitive, they can be even worse. So we do have to be careful with these things. Like, the FDA does not protect us. There are actually very few, I think around 30 ingredients that are banned from personal care products, whereas there are many more ingredients that are harmful. In fact, the EU has banned well over 1,000, I think something like 1,400 ingredients. So we really have to be informed about this. So that is what the talk was about. One of the most important things, of course, is like the things that go all over your skin, particularly things like moisturizers or even foundation if you're using a whole face. They recommended for foundation 100% pure, that brand. I have not used it, but just to state that, because I know a lot of people would be interested. Yeah, I'll show you a picture of some of the things I already went out and bought. I haven't been crazy about my shampoo and conditioner, so I got new ones of those. They really raved about this sunscreen, so I got some of that. And they also made the point about actually filtering your water, because when you're in the shower and it's usually hot, you actually can absorb a lot of contaminants from your water. And so it's actually important to filter your water, more so than it is to filter your drinking water. I think she said it was 7 times more important. One of the products I really liked and I got to try because we were roommates is the Honest Company wipes. So there's like a big baby on I got a package of 4 of these. But these are great for cleansing. They're very, they don't smell at all, which I like. So those are really good. I bought them and I've been using them. So another thing I want to mention is in Dr. Christie's video with me, she recommended a cleansing routine that started with hemp oil, and then she likes to use these wipes and then a toner, like a natural rose water toner. But a couple of my clients actually told me that the hemp oil, which Christy recommended because it's 100% non-comedogenic, it does not block your pores, actually cause them to break out. And so I told her this, and she thought that it was probably because, you know, this is an oil and it's mobilizing oil soluble toxins in your skin, and that was causing people to break out, right? So the answer to this is always like things like increase your water intake, use dry brushing to circulate the lymph, you know, which helps you detox oil soluble stuff. And I think she also recommended using baking soda with the hemp oil, which would help. We missed a talk, out to lunch. You know, like I said, I had to give talks, so there were other talks I would have liked to go to, but just weren't able to. Yeah, it's a good conference if you're around. Next year's gonna be in Chicago, I think in April probably. So anyway, heads up. Heads up on that. But the last day, I wanted to mention the Unstoppable Spirit Award, which was given to Lauren McKinney, who is the founder of Picking Me. And I had Lauren on my YouTube channel too long ago. I think it'd be great to have her back. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see her again. I will link that old video. But so she's somebody that, I mean, she had and still, you know, suffers from skin picking really quite badly. She's been hospitalized many times. She nearly lost her leg to infection. She more recently has had carpal tunnel syndrome, where she was losing the feeling in her hands, had to get a surgery for that. And yet she's got, you know, this great spirit, and she founded this Picking Me Foundation, and they're doing lots of great things. And she's just a super fun person. So, and you can see actually from some of the things they're doing. So this What's With Your Skin challenge, this is on social media. She's got people putting all kinds of colorful, fun things on their skin and posting it. And so she really helps to destigmatize this for all of the people that are really ashamed of it. And so this is a wonderful thing. And then on the other side of this is some more information on pickingme.org, the different things that you can do. I think it's wonderful, especially that she's going to, or she already has a growing list of dermatologists that are like dermatillomania friendly, so you don't have to worry about going to a dermatologist and having them tell you like, what are you doing? Stop picking, just stop picking, which so many people have told me happened to them, which is of course horrible. So here, you know, she's listing some people that you wouldn't have to worry about that with. She's got these derma resource packets for $10, and I believe that when you purchase one of those, for purchasing the fiddle pack, for everyone sold, they donate one. So it's just a really, really great organization that she's just been doing, like had the initiative for the last few years, and it's going well. So congratulations to Lauren for this award. All right, well, there was a lot, I guess, in this video. Let me know what you liked and what you might want to even hear more of in the comments. You know, give a thumbs up, definitely subscribe. I'm gonna continue having stuff. I am working on a book as well, but I like to take breaks and do videos too. So, all right, till next time.